And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Global Citizens. My name is Kelvin. I am the show's host. And of course, I'm also its creator. So, my guest for today, I need to give her a huge props because she actually know how to pronounce my show's handle before even asking me how it is. So, thank you so much for that. Usually, people will thought that the K is CK or something along the line. So, I'm very happy you already got it beforehand.
I'm not
So,
gonna lie, I didn't know how to pronounce. I just assumed global citizens with
well, it's you
TCK.
presume correctly. You presume correctly. You have a good instinct. All right. So my guest for today is Miss Natasha Ibrahim. Natasha is a third culture kid who is a travel blogger, fitness model, and digital nomad, whose career is to promote tourism through her content. So having been to 27 countries by the time she is 22, her complicated background include India, Pakistan, Uganda, the US, and Australia, all of the places that which she called home. So I actually know Natasha through through one of my past guests, my good buddies, the guys at Third Culture Talk, hosted by Dan and Kaye. So yeah, I was really interested to hear her insights. So yeah, there she is today. So without further ado, I'll pass the spotlight back to her. Natasha, how are you feeling?
I am really good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Okay, so for those of you who are tuning into the show for the very first time, or you'll be tuning in a little bit later due to the time zones, Global Citizens is a weekly live stream that invites third culture kids and advocates them, and along with global citizens of all background. The main reason why I want to do that is I want to highlight the awareness of the reality of our life is that this intercultural life is not an extended vacation, it's not a holiday. It's in fact something that is considered a lifestyle and a way of life that kind of define who we are. Sometimes we have to change the way we talk, the way we speak, and how I think there are cases there whereby we change how we look just because we want to fit in. And also now with the world becoming a much more global place, so this is something that I hope could be in a sense a basic foundation to be able to advocate this reality. So, without further ado, I'll jump into the first question for Natasha, and I am so sorry because this question has always has a mix. Some people like it, some people don't like it. Please define home to you, and yeah, yeah, your definition of home.
Yeah, so I have a few places that I consider home, but I also, it's more where I feel really comfortable. So, for example, I just moved here to Vancouver. I grew up here for 5 years when I was younger, and it feels kind of homey to me, but at the same time, not really. I think every place that I go to feels like a combination between home and not, depending on who is there, how I settle myself. I think for the past 5 years, I haven't had a proper home, I haven't had my own space. And now I'm trying to invent that for myself for the first time. I have my own apartment again since college, and now I'm trying to make this a home. I'm trying to figure out how to build a home myself because I moved so much. But I would say Austin, Texas is more my home just because majority of my family is there. But even when I'm there, I don't feel like it is my where my roots lay. Like I don't think I really have a home.
Yep. Yep, totally get it. Totally get it. I grew up in Singapore most of my life, and when I left, Singapore was home. But now my family is here in Jakarta, and when I actually wanted to come back to Singapore, COVID happened, and I don't know if I will have that kind of the same feeling when I actually return back sometime, hopefully in the near future. So I can relate to that to a certain extent, and this is why this kind of channel is needed because it helps people to actually still figure out what is home to them to be able to have a sense of relation. All
Mhm.
right. So you, as I stated in the description, your main job is that you are a travel blogger. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've invited several digital nomads. I've invited a friend of mine, Isabel Leong, who is a travel blogger originally from Singapore. However, for your case, is your third culture kid, which is actually a first case whereby a third culture kids become a digital nomad. So okay, I want to ask you this: is that it's common for TCK to pursue something which is more purpose or creative driven work. How do you think your TCK background actually contributed to it?
Yeah, so that's funny that so I'm the first TCK travel blogger that you've met. That's interesting because I would think that there would be so many. But for me, I think travel is part of my identity. It's something that I've obviously done my whole life. And because of that, I'm sure you can relate. My perspective of the world and when I traveled was so different. I was able to really immerse myself easily, feel at home, adapt, change my accent, change the way I look, learn languages, whatever it is, very quickly and not feel like I missed home. Whenever I moved to a new place, like in high school, I went to volunteer in Paraguay. Never been there, never went to South America, didn't know Spanish really. But I felt so at home there. I felt like I made it my home and my host family was my family and everything. And every time I move somewhere, I feel the same way. So I wanted to take my perspective and these strengths that I acquired over my childhood from traveling so much and put them to use. So I did study international relations in college. And then I always wanted to kind of share this perspective that I had, this unique perspective on travel and more so culture and cultural sensitivity, which is kind of how I got into travel blogging.
I see, I see, I see. So when people look at you, yeah, they will just expect a beautiful young lady who is just taking photos and giving a tips that people will just tune in simply because they don't really know you. They just want to see a beautiful young lady who's doing all of this stuff, and then she's just a typical influencer. But I want to ask though, what can you clarify about this? What have you been misunderstood about? Because I know some of growing up as a TCK, that's definitely not an easy because even from your website, I know you have a lot of mixed background. From Dan and Kaye's podcast, I actually know you got bullied one time just because you were eating peanut butter and jelly sandwich in Australia instead of eating Vegemite. So,
Mm-hmm.
what have you been misunderstood of, and what would you want to clarify about this?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's such a loaded question because there's been so many things over my whole life that I've been misunderstood about. And it's honestly, it makes me very emotional because this is a hard career path to have as a TCK because I feel like the layers of travel and the experiences I have are so deep and intricate that I'm not able to express them fully through my travel blogging. And yeah, like you said, I get a lot of feedback when I'm trying to grow my channel or when I'm trying to relay my experiences. People are saying, oh, you need to niche down, but what makes you different? Nothing makes you different. You're just another girl like taking pictures in different places. And I'm like, it's just very frustrating because travel and moving around and being a part of different cultures is so ingrained in me that when people don't understand that this has been my whole life and they tell me that I'm just being like another girl taking pictures trying to like show this kind of lifestyle, it really honestly hurts me because I'm doing this for so much more of a like to show cultures and to really showcase this kind of lifestyle because growing up it's like it wasn't my choice to move countries so often. I probably moved countries, I don't know, maybe 10 to 20 times. And I'm not just saying houses, I'm saying countries and continents. So the fact that now as an adult I'm still doing this, it it shows that how your childhood can really affect the decisions you make as an adult. And I wish that I was able to communicate that better. I wish more people understood that about my content rather than just thinking, oh, like you're just going traveling here and there and like taking pictures, because it's so much deeper than that.
Agreed, agreed. Just for the record, my show allows cussing. I'm not gonna censor it. If you want to cuss out to all those people, by all means, I'm not gonna cancel it.
Did I say something? I don't even remember.
No, 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 no. You've been
Okay,
wonderful. You've been wonderful. But
just
in
in
case you
case.
want to, the option is there. So go ahead.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
Nah, it's fine. All right. From your travel blogging journey, may I know? Maybe you can tell us what has been the ups and downs of it, because this is the world of social media. You put a
Mhm.
camera, you put a nice face, or you put somebody who's confident enough to put there, and then people will draw into you. It really depends on the level of luck you may have. Maybe you can get one post and then you get viral, or you can post until 1,000 times, then maybe you get something. But there's always something there. So, what has been
Yeah.
the ups and downs of it? The behind the
Okay.
backstory, because when I actually had some of the digital nomads in the past, I know there's one actually who lost the baggage, or they have to sleep somewhere in a jungle just because that is the only way that they can save up some money. So what is the some of the things that you have faced along the way?
Yeah, so many things to do with this. Being a digital nomad and also being a travel blogger. So I quit my job to do this. I already was doing this for the past 5 years, but along the line, like I was in school and then I worked in different areas. Like to be able to do this, I went to Spain to teach English and I don't know, I volunteered abroad. I did all these different things. So I was able to move abroad and get the visa and have a little bit of income and whatever, because yeah, there are those cases where you can go viral and you can grow and you can make all this money and stuff. But for me, it hasn't been that easy. I've had to work extremely hard and for many years to get to the point that I'm at. And even today, it's not completely stable all the time, my income, because it depends on brands that you work with and your viewers, and all of these things play a part in it. And for me, being a TCK travel blogger, another implication is that I have so many interests, and I think you probably can relate as a TCK. You think so in such a gray area, you don't think black and white. So there's so many things that I want to talk about on my platforms and content that I want to cover, which makes it difficult for me to really niche down. And my last YouTube video that I just posted this week is about niching down and how I've struggled with it. And that honestly has probably hurt my career or brand, since I don't just do travel. I talk about the emotions and I talk about mindset and I talk about all these different things, which I mean is very important to me, but to some people maybe it doesn't stick with just the concept of travel. So then my audience is a bit scattered. So that's a big issue and problem that I've faced. And then yeah, just you have to be creative to be a travel blogger. You have to figure out how you're going to fund it, because travel obviously is not always cheap. Flights are not cheap. Transportation and accommodations can be expensive. Of course, I stay in hostels. I've couch surfed a lot to be able to travel. I choose countries that are cheaper to travel to. I haven't gone to like the Nordic countries or Iceland and stuff. I stick with Italy and I don't know, Morocco and South America and all these places that are a bit more feasible for me. You do have to be creative, but I think traveling is just a mindset. If you have the willpower or the will to travel and you want to do it bad enough, you can do it. It's just about being creative.
Right, right, right. Okay. I actually want to piggyback on a little bit of that though. You mentioned you create a content that is a lot more emotionally driven, which is something that is important to you, that is part of who you are. But the thing is that when it's out, it's not something that people can easily be able to be receptive of. Why do you think that is, though? Because this is 2021. We now understand that there is an importance in the mental health, and there is nothing wrong with people just wanting to share it. Is it that because they just expect you to just be a pretty face on the camera, posting things that they all like to see, or how? Why do you think that there's such a negative feedback to it, though?
So it's not that there's a negative feedback, actually. It's that everyone that sees my content that is more mindset based and emotional based, they actually resonate with it more and I get more feedback on it. However, it's the algorithm because my niche is travel. So when I post content that isn't about travel or maybe it's a bit different, the algorithm doesn't pick it up as well, so people don't even see it. Like it doesn't get shown to them. So that's my issue is that I'll create content on travel and then I'll create content on mindset. So maybe the people that followed me just for travel, they won't click on the video for mindset. Or they won't click on, or vice versa. The people that follow me for mindset won't click on the video for travel. And then it causes my all of my content in the future to kind of get buried.
Okay, 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 okay.
Yeah,
Thanks
so
for
it's a
clarifying
lot
that.
to do with algorithms.
Okay, okay, huh? How funny that the world now runs on algorithms. All hail
That's
Google.
so scary.
Okay. All right then. I actually want to ask you though, do you feel that each move to a new country, I recall I already mentioned some of the countries that is part of you, yeah? So India, Pakistan, Uganda, Canada, US, and Australia. I hope I'm not missing anything because I think when I did hear your episode for the first time, you were in Costa Rica. So I hope I didn't miss anything.
No,
Yeah.
those
Do
are the
you
main
feel?
ones. Yeah.
Oh, those are the main ones. Okay, okay. Okay. Do you mind sharing with us about your growing up life with your mom and dad? Because I know that your mom keeps telling you you are an American, even though she herself is a TCK. So, with TCK never having a basis of their parents' roots, how important do you feel to get to know some of these places? Because this is part of who you are, actually.
Yeah, so it's so interesting because my mom is Indian, but she was born and raised in Uganda, and then she came to the US when she was 15 as a refugee, and she considers herself American. My dad was born in India, grew up in Pakistan, moved to Canada when he was 21. He considers himself Canadian, but he considers himself more Pakistani than Indian. And I think to me, it's very important. Like I always had a very strong affinity with Uganda for some reason. As a child, I wanted to go volunteer over there, and instead of volunteering there, I ended up going to South America, which led to like all of my studies in Latin American studies and like a whole different thing. But I went back to Uganda and Tanzania a few years ago with my mom. I got to see where she grew up, her old school, like the apartment she lived in with her family, where she was born, everything, which was incredible. And I feel like a deep connection to every single one of these places. And I'm really hoping soon I can visit India and Pakistan and see where my father came from and also the village where my mother's family's from and everything. Because to my mom, so to my family in general, like my brother, he's a doctor, he's older than me, and he doesn't have this desire to travel like me or learn about our roots or explore all these things, and neither does my mother, but I feel like my father might a bit more. But to me, it's so strong, that desire to really explore where I came from and how I all these cultures and countries made me, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. Uh, I mean, to be fair for your brother, just a little shout out to him. For his line of work, you can't really think of traveling. I think the ultimate comfort for him is a bed, a bit. I've worked. I know there are some of my friends who, some of my army friends who are doctors, and yeah, that's the ultimate privilege to them. Just a bit, so they can't really think of traveling. And I think it has a different assimilation level. I know you mentioned on your mom. I think for her it's easier for her to adapt to something because at that time she was just happy to have a place that she can't call home.
Hmm.
But I think everybody has a different approach to it too.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Do you feel though that when you move to a new country, this is feels like a grieving stage in a sense because you left one, you move to a new one, even though you have a chance to be able to come back eventually in the future. But the thing is that it's not gonna be the same. It's you come back as a new person with a new perspective that's trying to adapt to a new kind of perspective. And how do you feel though that this has helped you to grow as a person?
Absolutely. I get very attached easily. Even though I move often, I always feel extremely attached, and it's so difficult for me to leave any place ever. And I have to really reflect and like nurture myself through every move. For example, moving here to Canada, I was excited to do it and everything, but I was quite depressed, to be honest, the first few weeks of moving here. I really missed my home in Austin and my friends and my family. And I was thinking about how it's not going to be the same when I go back there. But now that I'm starting to find my rhythm over here, I feel a bit better. But I do often think about how my life was over there and who I was over there as well, because the person that you are today is not the same person that you become tomorrow. And I always reflect on these different chapters of me living in different places and who I was at that stage and how I've grown and the things I've gone through since. But definitely, yeah, there's definitely a lot of grieving when I move countries ever since I was little. Like this,
Oh.
because like I moved when I was so young so much, and it was always so devastating to me to move countries. And it wasn't like, oh, we're moving next year, we're moving in a few months. It was like, we're moving this week. Like, get your stuff, we're leaving. It was so sporadic, and there was no time to even wrap my head around it. Sometimes we even moved like a day later. Like, I was told we're moving today or we're moving tomorrow, and then we just had to grab our stuff and leave, which was really traumatic, honestly. And I think that stuck with me as well, like into adulthood.
I actually want to ask because this is something a little bit. Oh, this is a. I don't know if this is my thing because I know there are some TCKs who have it, some of those who don't have it. How attached are you to a certain stuff? Because I have a separation issue for me. Is that I can keep using something till the day it is really busted. It's because I know I can remember the certain memories behind some things. I have two pairs of shoes that is broken down that I only threw last week. It's because they literally broke down and I need to get a new one. And but the thing is, I know there are TCKs who are used to just throwing away stuff. It's because oh we are not so attached to it. But I know that there are some who are a lot more attached to a certain item because of some memories it holds to a certain place. Which
Yeah.
one do you think you are?
Yeah, I definitely get attached to things very easily and I don't want to let them go. I'm trying to change that about myself though. When I was younger, it was worse, but now I'm trying to, because objects hold energy. And I think it's important to renew your energy every so often and clear the space for new things and new opportunities. Because I would always get stuck in the past. I've gone through a whole like shift in who I am and how I see the world over the past probably 10 years. Before I was extremely depressed. I was looking at everything very negatively. I was in this really bad cycle. And I started to go on like a spiritual journey and like break through that. And I'm learning as I go. But in the past couple years, it's really helped me to be able to practice non attachment because non-attachment lets you allow more opportunities and more growth and what is actually meant for you to enter. Because I found I would always be yearning for the past or yearning for memories and living in the past, and I wasn't able to move forward, if that makes sense. And I think it's important to know physical things have that same effect as like memories or thoughts.
Right, right, right. Yeah, totally relatable. Totally relatable. Not to worry about that. I think it's just a different approach for some people. Some people can just okay, just let it go, let it go. We are so used to it anyway. But there are those who are maybe in a sense a little bit more like how we do things. For
Mm-hmm.
me, is that I don't know. For me, I this has always been a habit that I keep. So I don't think I've done anything to actually move on from that, unless it's something that maybe is a little bit more. Well, there's a living being attached related to it. So I think, but if it's for items, I can be considered a hoarder. So okay, let me just edit that out. Okay, I'm just kidding. All right. Okay, I actually want to ask something a little bit more fun in a sense. So, if you are given the chance to create a character or even a big budget series using your insights as as a TCK to address how you grew up or some of the issues you've dealt with, what would you want to create? The reason being I ask this is because I feel that representation is important, and when there is an actual deeper representation of a TCK life, it normalizes it and it makes people understand, oh, there is such a lifestyle. I mean, they did that when Barack Obama was inaugurated as the president, but the thing is that there was no term for it at that time. So, yeah, uh, maybe I can have your insight on this.
So are you saying to create like a movie or something, how I would
Yeah,
or
sure. Yeah, sure. Movie, or you want to create a character?
a
Yeah, up to
character?
you.
I mean, yeah, like you could create like a childhood cartoon character or something who moves different places. It would be because I remember being a child and just like not feeling like I fit in anywhere, and that just my perspective and mindset was so different than anyone else's around me. And I felt really isolated. I felt very alone, and it was hard for me to really make form deep connections with friends. I was a floater. I was friends with everybody. Like I had so many friends, but I didn't have those friends that were very close to me until I was in college and I met other people that grew up like I did. So I feel like if there was a show or a childhood character that could convey like the perspective and the obstacles that TCKs go through, it would be really nice because I think it's important for children because we're TCKs, we're third culture kids, but we're adults. It's like
Yeah.
your childhood, you carry it into your adulthood, all of those experiences. So I think it's important to really be mindful of what children are going through and how all of that is affecting them.
Right, right. I actually want to add on a little bit to that. So I recently encountered a case whereby somebody who is doesn't grow up multiculturally and became an expat later on in life claimed to be, oh, does that mean I'm a third culture kid? It's not. Just to clarify a little bit, I'm not insulting you. I'm not trying to put down or not acknowledging your experience here. So there's a term called adult third culture kids, which is basically what Natasha and we are third culture kids who are already adults now. There is, however, an unofficial term called third culture adults, which is basically adults who became an expatriate and then start to feel the identity crisis is because they find that there is a home that they are a lot more attached to as the host country. So I'm not invalidating your experience. I'm acknowledging it, but why I actually highlight this term properly is because there are traditional TCKs who take it a little bit too personally, and I can't blame them also, is because for a lot of them, the term TCK is the only thing that they had until that they for so many years that they can call their own identity. So I'm just going to highlight a little bit on that. So Natasha, I have one last question for you. And what do you feel has been the blessing as a third culture kid? And just to equal that up, what do you think has been something of a curse being one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful for all the experiences I had and the unique upbringing that I had because I feel like I'm so open-minded. My perspective is so wide and different from majority of the people that I met, and I'm also able to adapt really easily and put myself in other people's shoes. I think being empathetic is one of the things I'm most proud of, and I'm glad that I got from being a third culture kid and my open-mindedness. The curse is that I'm so adaptable and I'm so open minded that it's hard for me to identify myself. I struggle with my identity so much because things change depending on where I'm living, my fashion, my interests. I can't choose a food that I is my favorite. It's like I like everything. And there's at this point in my life, I'm 25, change career paths. I quit my corporate job. I don't want to go back into that. And I'm doing so many different things. I can't hone in on one career or something that I'm really like I'm good at everything, but there's not something that I specialize in. And I think that is because of my TCK mindset. And that's a struggle for me right now because there's so many interests that I have, and I feel like I'm pulling myself in so many different directions. I wish I could have a clear sense of my identity and my direction. Do you feel the same way?
Yes. Yes and no. Uh, for me, I can definitely relate to the food part is because my like in my household, I'm the only one who doesn't like to eat the more Chinese Indonesian traditional food, if you want to call it, because my tongue is a lot more customized to a Western based dishes. One, and in I think for me it's not that well. I've never been a jack of all trades. I've always been somebody who want to master all, but I always wanted to focus. And representing third culture kids, doing an intercultural related work is something that is in a sense something that I felt has been a purpose of sort to me because like making this show, it's 8 a.m. to me. It's 8 a.m. I've been up since 5 actually. It's because this is something that I love to do. And I think I think the moment you find something that you're more passionate about, that regardless of the struggle that you got with it, it's worth it and it's something that you love to do. I've done this show when Kobe Bryant passed away. I've done it when I actually lost some of my family members. And even though in a sense it has become like a safety anchor to me, it is also something that I believe is something worth sharing about. And
Mhm.
it's a story that is people's story, so it's something that I hope people can relate to whether they're TCKs or not. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's really cool. That's true. It's like when you find that one thing, and it's just about trying different things and then finding it, you know? So I'm on that journey right now. But I feel like travel blogging, that's like YouTube to me, is I've been doing YouTube for 3 years consistently. And even though it's been so slow to grow, it's something that I can't give up. Like I've been told, especially at the beginning when I only had 100, 200 subscribers, my friends were like, Natasha, give up. Like it's not worth it. Why are you putting so much time and effort? And I almost did once, and then I was like, no, like I absolutely love this. This is what I'm doing for myself, like that intrinsic motivation. So yeah, that's very true.
Wow, I don't even have 100 subscribers yet on my YouTube because the last time I just focused everything on my live stream that I forgot to update it on YouTube.
It's
Okay,
okay. You're still doing the it's consistency. That's
thank you.
the key thing with YouTube.
No, okay, that's good to know. I learned it from an expert today. All right.
I don't know if I'm an expert, but
All right, Natasha. Okay, that's actually all the question I have. I actually just want to ask though, and maybe this is something that I hope you can reflect back from your childhood. Is that what do you feel has been you are most grateful about? This is something that I like to end the show with now. The sense of gratitude. What do you feel has been that you feel has been you are most grateful of, whether it's in your job as a travel blogger or even as a TCK or whichever path that you choose of? What do you feel that you have been most grateful of?
I am so grateful that I believe that I can do anything and live anywhere, work remotely, and create my reality. And I think the reason I feel this way is because when you live in so many different places and you're thrown into brand new cultures, brand new situations as a child, and you're literally just like, your parents are like, here you go, like, learn the language, whatever, you realize how resilient you are and that you will be okay. Like, you can overcome anything. Even if you do fail, you're still going to get back up and keep going. So I think that's what I'm most thankful for, is the resilience that came from my childhood.
Wonderfully said. All right. So I actually want to send a lot of thanks because on the people who leave a lot of likes on Instagram, but there's at least 30 plus of you at the moment and it's growing. So
No way.
thank you so much for you guys who has been so positive about Natasha's coming in today. For those of you who are tuning and will be tuning in later. And last but not least, I actually want to give a little shout out to our mutual friend Dan and Kaye at Third Culture Talks. So those guys are really good friends of mine. Oh, and there's also a late likes from Eddie. How are you, Eddie? So I hope I didn't butcher your name, buddy. Eddie Hussein Wabahu. Sorry, I hope I didn't butcher your name. If you have a comment on how we are supposed to pronounce your name, my friend. All right. Last but definitely not least, I just want to say thanks to Natasha for making the time to come in today. Anything you want to say, Natasha?
Thank you so much for having me. This was so great. I love talking about all of these things and sharing insights about being a TCK. And of course, connecting with other TCKs is always incredible. So, yeah. And thank you, Dan and Kaye, for linking us all together. And thank you for having me so much.
You're very welcome. All right then. Oh, sorry. I'm just gonna. All right, Eddie. I invited you 2 years ago. You haven't
2 years.
responded.
Eddie, what are you doing? What have you been doing for 2 years?
All right. And with that, that's the end of episode 105 of Global Citizens Conversation with the Learning Brand TCK. See you guys.
Bye.